Yes, welcome along to episode 15 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch, counting down to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. So folks, it was Valentine's Day yesterday. Gavin, how did it go? Was it a night of romance in the Lynch household?
It was good, yeah. We went for actually.
Don't go into any minor details now, okay? Keep it clean. This show comes out before the watershed.
We went to Punchtown on Sunday, got an invite to go to Punchtown, so we went and we did a lovely meal. The food was gorgeous.
She is such a lucky woman, Anne-Marie.
And yeah, so that was our...
How did you manage to get her to go to Punchtown for Valentine's Day?
Sure, why not? And then I was going to send her flowers yesterday and she warned me not to, so...
Did you get her card? That's the most important thing. The card is the most important thing.
I did, and got her a few flowers as well. So you can't just do what you're told all the time.
So you're in the good books.
Here's one for you. Years ago, so when we were dating for a couple of years, I got obviously...
In the 70s yet?
Well, actually, we got engaged 17 years ago yesterday, Valentine's Day.
Happy anniversary.
But, thank you. So obviously got her a few cards that said to my girlfriend, and then when we got married, she said, "You only get me a card that says to my wife or to my girlfriend."
Yeah.
I said, "I shall see." So I went down to the shop anyway, Easton's or somewhere, and I went in. I didn't know what to get, so I got both. So when I went up to pay, I handed the two cards, and the woman behind the counter was looking, and she sees "to my girlfriend," "to my wife," and she kind of went, and she pointed at them. I said, "It's for the same." I tried to explain myself, but I don't think she believed me. But anyway,
I don't think I believe you, Gavin, to be honest with you.
Anyway, how was your Valentine's Day?
It was actually very quiet, very, very quiet. We're at a wedding on Saturday, and we're still feeling the effects. So
okay.
Usually we go all out, but this time no, very relaxed. There's a baby in the household. It's very different, Gavin.
It is.
But as we said, it's a month, Gavin.
Yeah,
Only
4 weeks to go.
4 weeks to Christmas Day, the start of the Cheltenham Festival, and you have to stay tuned because we've got 4 tips, 2 from Gavin, 2 from me.
And also, can I mention before we start the programme?
You can, hurry up.
Our Coast to Curragh cycle is happening again this year, Saturday, August the 27th. We had a brilliant day last year. You met us at Fairy House, etc.
Did you? I cheated, yeah.
You did, and you'll have to get on the bike this year. So anyway, we did a website over the winter. It's finished, it's ready. Go and have a look. You won't get it on Google just yet, but if you type into your address bar at the top, coasttocurragh.ie, go in and have a look. It's all last year's videos, pictures. You can donate, you can sign up, etc. It's a really nice website. So have a look.
All the money going to Cancer Trials Ireland?
Yep.
So for a fantastic cause, give us a date again.
Saturday, August the 27th.
And in 4 weeks from today, the Cheltenham Festival starts, so we got to get on with the show. Yes, we're going to kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Mark Jordan. And Mark wants to know, Gavin, who will have more winners at the 2022 Cheltenham Festival? Mr. W.P. Mullins or Britain?
I hope it's the Mark Jordan. I know I used to play soccer with him. Brilliant footballer he was. I'm going to go for Britain. Now, it might seem a silly question, but it's not. It's a good question because last year Britain had 5 and Willie had 6, so it is relevant. I could see Willie maybe having 6 or 7, but I think Britain will have 8 or 9 myself. Here's one for you. I think Ireland is something like 1 to 10, 1 to 9 to win what's called the Presbytery Cup. What might be an idea is that there's a chance after 3 races that Britain could be 3-0 up with the Supreme, the Arkle and the Ultima. And if you got something like 2 to 5 Ireland to win the Presbytery Cup at that stage, that's a good bet.
Take it. Because it was 2-1, wasn't it, last year after 3 races?
It was, yeah. Yeah, so with Shishkin and the Ultima winner. But yeah, I think Britain will outscore Willie. But Willie will have a brilliant week, I'd say.
So we're kind of going, you're thinking around 8 for Britain, 6 for Willie?
Yeah, but it's hard to know.
Yeah, I think around the same. I think 8 or 9 for Britain, 6 or 7 for Willie. I
I
think they're going to beat Willie.
They will.
But will they beat Ireland?
No,
I don't think so. Thanks for your question, Mark. Our next question this week comes in from Dan Callahan, and Dan wants to know, has Edward Stone's performance at Warwick changed our mind on the Arkle? He's beaten third time lucky twice now, and fair and square really. So can that form be reversed?
I was going to say, is this question more directed at you than me?
Probably is, yeah. Last week I went for third time lucky at 7-1 for the Arkle. He's now 20-1. Look, Edward Stone is the right favourite now.
Yep.
Definitely the right favourite. He's just professional, jumps quick, jumps slick. Everything about him is professional, and he's matured into a proper chaser. And I think he's got every chance. I do think that if third time lucky does go for a race, which he might now, he might wait for entry, the setup of the Arkle will suit better. They'll go faster earlier, and I think he will be the one that will be travelling really well at the third last coming down the hill. I don't think he can reverse the form.
I wouldn't give him much chance at all. I just wonder.
Thanks,
I wouldn't think so because third time lucky's had 5 runs over fences. I don't see where the improvement's going to come from. For pleasure, he'll probably go to Aintree because he likes the flat tracks. And I just wonder, will third time lucky go to Aintree as well, because he'd have a better chance of winning there, especially if For Pleasure made the running like he did, say, in Doncaster.
But he only took them along for about 1.5 miles the other day, like for pleasure. He wasn't able to go.
Yeah. I just, I wouldn't be into third time luck anyway.
No. I have to say I'm more lukewarm than I was this time last week, and I wish I had that decision again. I don't think I would have tipped third time lucky, but I do think the Arkle will suit better than Warwick. So I do hope Dan does decide to go there. That's third time lucky. But Edward Stone, the right favourite for the Arkle?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, definitely so. And our final question this week is a juicy one. It's from Claire Goodwin. And Claire wants to know, Gavin, where are the following horses going to run? Dysart Dynamo, Sir Gerhard, Gallopin' the Champs, Ginto, and Royal Kahala. Okay, we'll start off. Sir Gerhard.
Sir Gerhard, after Leopardstown, you would be thinking maybe the Supreme, but because it didn't jump brilliant, and Willie referred to the fact afterwards it could run 2 or 2.5. And if you look at the exchanges, you have to start looking at the exchanges this time of the year, because don't forget, they're not non-runner, no bet, so people will lose their money. So it's quite a strong opinion by a lot of people. He's now well backed for the Ballymore, so you get the impression he's going to the Ballymore.
Ballymore. I think Sir Gerhard will go for the Ballymore. Dysart Dynamo.
Well, obviously, if he goes there, you'd imagine he'll go to the other race, which is the Supreme, so Supreme.
Supreme for me as well. Ginto.
I was hopeful for the Bartlett, but having read what Gordon said yesterday, he seemed to be leaning to the Ballymore. At the same time, I wouldn't give up totally that if the ground ended up kind of good to soft, maybe he'll consider the Bartlett, particularly if Sir Gerhard maybe goes to Ballymore. But at the moment, it's looking like the Ballymore. Brilliant
stable tour with Gordon Elliott with Brian Sheeran in Tuesday's Racing Post. You can read it online. It is fantastic. Gordon is so honest in these stable tours. It's fantastic. Read it all. Brian Sheeran interviewed Gordon. It's in the Racing Post on Tuesday. Read it. I'd advise everybody to read it. Okay, we move on to...
What do you think?
I think Ginto... I think it depends on Sir Gerhard, but I think Gordon does tend to stick to his word, so I think he'll go for the Ballymore. Gallopin' the Champs.
Gallopin' the Champs. Yeah, this is...
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it's still 50-50. Like in the last week or two, Ruby and Patrick have both come out and said that they would prefer the Turners.
What is that about?
Yeah, I don't know. Willie had referred to his jumping...
And Lydia Hislop on the road to Cheltenham. Okay. Like, she's convinced that the Turners is the best race for him.
Like Willie referred that obviously his jumping at Christmas was brilliant. His jumping the last day wasn't quite as good. He lunged at 1 or 2, and Willie referred to that. So maybe that would suggest the 3-miler. I would say the Brown Advisory.
Yeah, I think the Brown Advisory as well. I know we said a few weeks ago that he was 1-66 to run in it. I think he's drifted a little bit. I don't think he's that short now, but I still think he's odds on to go to Brown Advisory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And then lastly is Royal
Kahala.
I think the number one most important factor for Royal Kahala is ground.
Ground, yes.
So I think as a result, you're going to say the stairs, but the ground on the Tuesday is usually the softest of the 4 days. So I think even though it's the old course and even though it's only 2.5, I'd say because of the ground, she might go to the Mayor's Hurdle.
Do you know what? I think she will go for the Mayor's Hurdle, but I think she should go for the stairs. That would be my opinion, I think.
I suppose when you own the horse, you train the horse, you have to do what's best for the horse long term.
Yeah.
They don't want to get her injured. She didn't run well there last year, even though she had a different excuse than ground. But I suppose ground is the biggest thing. So
okay, so you think the Mayor's Hurdle?
Probably, yeah.
And I think the Mayor's Hurdle. So there you go. Good
question.
A great question from Claire. Those 5 horses, that's where we think they're going to go. It's not cut and dried.
No.
But that's where we think they're going to go. So time will tell, Claire. So now it's time for the week that was, where Gavin Lynch gets to tell you all about the horses that have caught his eye over the last 7 days. And I can take a breather and just listen to your dulcet tones, Gavin. So take it away.
It's mad that we keep saying next week's not going to be as busy. It's not going to be as busy, and it was busy. So anyway,
I don't think next week will be as busy though.
No, probably not. It's 4 weeks to go, so I'd say at this stage 90% of the horses will have had their last run by say right now. Anyway, we're going to start on Tuesday in Taunton with a horse called Dr. Parnassus.
Oh yeah.
He looks a fine horse, doesn't he?
Oh yeah.
He was rated 75 in the flat. This is over 2 miles 3. For a 4-year-old, it's a fair achievement to be able to stay that trip. 16-1 Ante-Post with Bet365 for the Triumph Hurdle. Now 2 over 2. 2 out of 2 over hurdles. Fine big horse. Jumps really well. Won by 9 lengths at 11-4 on. Previously had won Ascot by 10 lengths. He's a nice horse.
Tipped up by Tom Siegel in his Ante-Post tipping column for the Triumph Hurdle.
Did he?
He looks gorgeous. I don't think he can beat the 2 at the top of the market, but he's a gorgeous horse.
Yeah, no, lovely horse. Wednesday, Fairy House. HMS Seahorse, a 4-year-old. That was his 3rd run over hurdles and is now qualified for the Boodles. Was 3rd to Pied Piper and Vauban. Was 2nd to the Tide Turns. Beat Global Export by a length and a quarter here. A slight mistake in the last couple, but jumped well overall and actually stayed on very well in the last 100 yards. It came from Ballydoyle, where it had a flat rating of 83. It got a Racing Post rating of 122 for this performance. Just to keep in mind, last year 123 was the lowest horse to get into the Boodles, but the 10-year average is 126. So if it gets a rating of 122 in Ireland, it'll probably get 4 or 5. So it probably should get in, I'd say.
Interesting.
The time was just okay. It was 4:24. It wasn't brilliant, but it was okay for a 4-year-old. 16-1 with Bet365 for the Boodles. 12-1 non-runner no bet if you want to go that way.
Paul Nolan having a terrific season.
Yeah, he is. Thursday at Thurles, we've got Gentleman to Me. This was his third run over fences, so he is qualified for the Grand Annual, but I'll come back to that in a sec. Had been fifth to Fernie Hollow, was second to Hoton Callure, won here by 34 lengths. The race was over at halfway, jumped very well. It was a Henry horse in second. Willie said afterwards he might not be ready to go across the water just yet. Maybe the Flying Bolt at Navan on the 5th of March might be the best option. So if you're going to back him for the Grand Annual, you have to back him non-runner no bet because it looks like he's not going to.
And there are 2 markets with Bet365.
Yeah, any trace, which is good.
Absolutely, you can back non-runner no bet or Ante-Post.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's not going. Okay. Thursday in Huntingdon, your horse, LA Bell, she won the Sydney Banks Novice Hurdle. This was 2 mile, 3.5 a furlong. Beat Gentleman at Arms, gelding by a neck. Just got up in the last 50 yards to win. Dan Skelton said afterwards, the 2.5 mile Novice Hurdle at Aintree is the race that suits her best. Otherwise, we might consider the Grade 1 of Fairy House. So just...
No, Dan watches the show now.
Dan
I know for a fact Dan watches the show,
okay.
Right? Dan, there's only one Cheltenham, Dan. You can still go to Aintree. You can still go to Fairy House. The makeup of the Mayor's Novice Hurdle at Cheltenham is made for LA Bell. She'll get the strong pace. That was a big performance to beat the boys at Huntington. Did well to come from off the pace. Dan, you got to go. You just got to go.
So again, if you're going to back her, you have to back her non-runner on a bet. She's 6-1 in case she doesn't go.
And I'm not just saying that because I've tipped her up already, by the way. Dan, do the right thing, Dan.
On to Friday in Bangor. Cheltenham winner from last season won. He got beat actually. Porlock Bay, an 11-year-old, was 4-9, finished second to Salvatore. That horse is 20-1 now for the Hunter's Chase. Was beaten 2.25 lengths, but was given the winner £11. That was only its second run since it won the Hunter's Chase last year at Cheltenham. I thought it was a reasonably good performance, even though it got beat. Travelled very well as usual and jumped really well as usual. So I wouldn't give up on that horse. 14-1 non-runner on a bet for the Hunter's Chase. On to Newbury on Saturday, and we'll start with Brave Man's Game. Paul Nicholls is now 4 out of 47 in the last 21 days, and also he had 2 winners from 7 on Saturday. So hopefully for his sake that the tide is turning a little bit for the form of his horses. Brave Man's Game beat Pat's Fancy by 3.5 lengths, giving it £16, which was a very, very good performance.
Gavin is jumping. I was going to say, I won't say what I was going to say, but
no, don't.
It is unreal.
His jumping is brilliant, but also he seems to be a very, very intelligent horse.
Yeah, he's Einstein.
The first one down the back, he was meeting it wrong, and Harry just lets him do what the horse wants to do, which is the right thing. And he put in short stride and got through it. And at the 4th last, he done the same thing. He put in short stride and got through it. He just seems like a horse, touch wood, that he looks like he'll never fall. He's just a very clever horse.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant jumper.
Look, if Cheltenham was about sitting down and sitting in front of exams, I think Brave Man's Game would win every race. But I don't know. So
he's 4 from 4 over fences. Having won in Newton Abbott, Haydock, Kempton now at Newbury. He's going up £5 from 159 to 164. Like, that rating is so high.
Can he beat Gallopin the Champs? Can he?
He can, but I don't think so. Like, it's not impossible.
No.
Gallopin the Champ just does look like a bit of a freak.
Yeah.
In a normal year,
he'd be a certainty. It'd be like Denman going in at evens into the
yeah. No, he would be a very sharp price favourite normally because that's a very, very high rating.
Yeah.
So, and fair play to Paul Nicholls for running him in a handicap.
Yeah.
You know, that it was like an old-fashioned thing to do. He's now 5-2 non-runner no bet for the Brown Advisory.
He is up there with one of the arguably and definitely in the top 3 best jumpers of a fence I've seen already.
Yeah, and he's only a novice, yeah.
Spectacular.
Eldorado Allen won the Grade 2 Denman Chase, beat Royal Pagaille by 2.25 lengths. It was 10 lengths back to Clandazoba, who obviously ran flat because he's usually better than that. So 2 mile 4 was the longest trip he'd been before Saturday, when he was second, say, to Mr. Fisher the last time at Kempton. This was 2 mile 7 and 86 yards. He's 8-1 non-runner on a bet for the Ryanair, and he's 25-1 for the Gold Cup. So they're debating whether they have to pay the supplementary fee for the Gold Cup.
Where would you send him?
I'd send him to Aintree. I wouldn't send him to Cheltenham. I don't think he'd be good enough to beat Allaho, and I don't think he'd maybe stay in the Gold Cup. What do you think?
No, I think you're probably right. Sorry, boys.
Even though you're laughing at me. Royal Pagaille, his last 3 wins were in handicaps. He was 22 lengths behind A Plutard in Haydock in November. He was well beat last year in the Gold Cup and things didn't go right for him. Like, he ran quite well here considering the ground was too quick for him. It was only 2 miles 7 and a bit. He had to come from behind. The one thing I'd have against Royal Pagaille, I just think particularly if you look at his races in the first couple of miles, his jumping's a bit low and he hits the odd one, and his jumping just gets him into slightly behind the 8 ball, but he's a good horse. The Game Spirit, Fun and Bold, Civila beat So Royal by 2 lengths. Hitman was third. I don't see a Cheltenham winner in that. The Betfair Hurdle, how unlucky were you for the charity bet last week? I was shouting at the telly. I thought we'd the money won. I was thinking of 600 or 800 quid for the charity.
Oh, I like to move it, yeah. He
good
just
shout
didn't
now.
move it quick enough, yeah.
So Glory and Fortune beat him by a short head. And again, I didn't really see a winner there for Cheltenham in that race.
Unless I like to move, it goes for the Coral Cup, where he would have a massive chance off a mark of around 140.
Maybe.
His best part of all his races are from the second last of the line, over 2 miles. He's won at the Old Course in Cheltenham twice. He is crying out for a step up and trip. I think he'd go off favourite for the Coral Cup if he decides to go.
Yeah, but they have the winner in that in Gowl Road, so.
That's true.
Warwick on Saturday. We're going to start with Marie's Rock. Same time as the Novice Hurdles. The time was okay.
Pal of yours.
Yeah, well, she beat Get a Tonic here by 3 lengths, and it was another 12 lengths. Sorry, Indefatigable was beaten 12 lengths. But you have to remember that on Marie's Rock's second last run, she got no run in Kempton because of the second hurdle. She was more or less brought down. Since she stepped up and tripped to say 2.5 or 2.5, she's 2 from 2. She's going to love the Mayor's Hurdle. The fact that it's on the Old Course, it's on the Tuesday, you turn in, there's the last. She's got a bit of gears. She's like 14 to 1 non-run on a bet for the Mayor's Hurdle. I wouldn't dismiss her now.
She has a squeak.
Doesn't she?
Yeah, she has a squeak.
She definitely has good turn of foot. Edward Stone, that we mentioned earlier, beat third time lucky by 4 1/4 lengths and a length and a half back to Brave Shaska in third. The thing about Edward Stone is that his jumping is so fast. Like he's getting there too soon. In Warwick, just
Land's
because
running all the time.
Yeah, he's a brilliant jumper, isn't he? You have to remember that's 4 from 4. Even though he was unseated and brought down in his first 2 ever chases, he's now won 4 in a row.
What about his age, Gavin? Is he too old?
Yeah, the stats will tell you that. It's normally what happens is, you want a 6 or 7-year-old that they've been a novice chaser and go straight into novice
hurdler,
and then become a novice chaser. Generally, it doesn't work when a horse hangs around hurdling for a year or two and then goes chasing.
Is there a big buck coming here?
Not really. It's just that. Normally you wouldn't get a horse that jumps so brilliantly, haven't done that. But chasing is his game, it's his calling. So he's 7 to 4 non-run on a bet for the Arkle. It was a decent time at 3:58. And Brave Shaska deserves a mention in third place. Had won 3 chases before that. Went in off 145, is now off 146. Ran well and hopefully will go for the Grand Annual. Naas on Saturday, Brazil beat Underflow and Ebisari by 13 lengths and 3 1/4 lengths further back. In third was Ebisari. Brilliant performance, change of tactics, had I think run 3 times over the winter time, and had been a big eye catcher in Leopardstown at Christmas, staying on. This was a much better performance. Made all, bolted up, and afterwards Porrick Road said we'll probably stay at home with him for soft ground. So
I thought Ebisari ran well.
Yeah, I liked Ebisari and Underflow. I definitely wouldn't give up on those 2. How Ebisari is 25 to 1 for the Boodles with bet is mental price. Yeah. The 2 of them are now qualified because Underflow had a run in France. I definitely wouldn't give up on either of those, particularly Ebisari.
Yeah, Ebisari would have a chance. I just wonder as the tide turns, and hopefully Brisket just a little bit better than them.
They could be. Just to remember as well that Ebisari got a form boost during the week when Adamantly Chosen won last week, and that was a good run in Cork to beat that, especially an older horse. Journey With Me beat Choice of Words, giving the mare £5 by 3 lengths. Bit of a farce of a race. They crawled for the first half a mile, so it turned into less than a 2 mile race, even though this was 2 mile 3.
He kind of gets the job done though. He's one of those, isn't he? He just does what he has to do.
He's still unbeaten. Henry afterwards suggested the Ballymore. I suppose you have to remember that the run at Christmas was very good. Beat Minella Crooner and Kilcrut. Kilcrut maybe didn't stay in. Your horse Minella Crooner once further. 4 to 1 non-run on a bet for the Ballymore. I think personally that's too short. I like the horse, but I couldn't back it at that price.
You like him, but you just don't love him.
No.
Okay.
I'd sooner have one of Willie's too.
Okay.
Ellie May was 2 to 13. She beat
Well done on the charity bet last week, Gavin. A winner's a winner. You say I like to move it when close. We got nothing back from I like to move it. Ellie May, we got a little tasty. Can you do the maths?
I don't know, probably
€8 for the
something
charity?
like that. Yeah. I just thought maybe what do you call the Gordon Elliott horse? I thought Mount Ida. I thought that maybe was going to run, so I thought it might have been 2 even monies.
Don't worry, Gavin.
Anyway,
a winner's a winner.
Yeah.
You know that as much as anybody.
She beat Court Maid, who's a 3 miler, by an easy 5 lengths over 2 miles. She jumped really well, change of tactics. Now she was wearing a first time tongue tie and cheek pieces. So I've watched Ellie May numerous times when I've backed her and backed her at Cheltenham last year.
She sleeps beside you at night, I think. Does she? You love her that much?
She's a lovely grey mare, and I think that the cheek piece in particular, they need to sharp her up a little bit, because in the first mile of all her races she was getting too far back and her jumping was only average. I think the change of tactics worked very well, and I'd imagine she'll make the run at Cheltenham.
She's every chance.
Massive chance.
Massive chance. I know, like, she's yours, and do you know what? If I could steal one of yours, it'd be Ellie May.
Yeah, I think Willie said afterwards there's no Colreevy in the Mayor's Chase this year. Like Colreevy, what price would she be if she was running the Gold Cup? She'd be only a 6 or 8 to 1 shot in the Gold Cup. Look what she did at Punchestown. Yeah. So I think the form from last year is very good.
Hoping up the run, it'll be 2 grades fighting it out, Silver Forever and Ellie May.
Yeah, your horse is very good too. One thing I'd say as well is Concertista, who's the favourite at say 9-4, 5-2. It's only had 2 runs over fences. The form is not brilliant. And also with 4 weeks to go, I had a look at the fixture list. I can't see where Concertista is going to have another run. So I wouldn't like that horse going on 2 runs to Cheltenham. Also on Saturday in Naas, my old pal, another pal, Billaway. Billaway was 2-5 and a first time tongue tie as well.
Can't do it again. You're not putting him up again, are you?
No, I'm not, no.
Okay.
It was a poor race, but he won very well, and actually he jumped very well.
He did, yeah.
He made one mistake, I think, the 5th last, and he halved that, but apart from that, he jumped
The
well.
only thing I will say about Billaway, the Hunter's Chase at Cheltenham this year looks shocking. So, like, could be the worst one he's ran in.
Yeah,
And the Bulger's not going to have a runner in it.
No. I wouldn't dismiss last year's winner. He's a big price, Porlock Bay, but...
Okay.
So last year, in 2020, he went off 11-4 favourite, was second. Last year, he went off 2-1 favourite and was second, beating a short head. The one thing I find interesting when I'm watching him, now he did jump very well. It's like he jumps every fence differently.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
He jumps it that way, this way, up, down, low. Anyway, so he's 11-4, non-runner bet for this year's Hunter's Chase.
Okay.
Punchestown on Sunday, as I said, I was there. And it was,
had you a good day?
Yeah, great day.
Very nice.
Gorgeous. Really good. Had the beef. Midnight Maestro beat Stable Companion, Shady Operator by a neck. Midnight Maestro, you have to remember, went over to Cheltenham in December and didn't run very well. It finished 12th, beaten 74 lengths in the cross-country course over there. I think definitely, if there's a match bet, the two of them are very similar price. They're like around 10-1 for the cross-country. I would definitely be having a decent bet on Shady Operator to finish ahead of Midnight Maestro on the better ground.
Stamina, Shady Operator, no? 3 mile 6?
Yeah, the thing I like about him is that he jumps these fences as good as any.
He does, yeah.
He jumps them as well as Tiger Roll. So. Ciel de Neige won the Hollywood Bets Novice Chase, beat Fire Attack by 5.5 lengths, giving the runner-up £3, is now 3 from 3 over fences. And interestingly, the 3 wins have been at 2 miles, 2-2 and 2.5. He had a rating of 139 over hurdles, 17 runs over hurdles. A bit like Edward Stone, coming to the party over fences a bit later than normal.
Has he a chance if he went to the Arkle?
He's 20s Ante-Post with Bet365 for the Arkle. He shouldn't be good enough, but I'm tipping up a horse later on in the Grand Annual, and I'm worried that Ciel de Neige will end up there. But we don't know, because now Ciel de Neige, interestingly, has no entry in the Turners, but could go for the Paddy Power Plate, the handicap, could go for the Grand Annual, or maybe the Arkle. But knowing Willie, he tends to go to the best race, so perhaps he'll go there. Slip of the Tongue beat Deploy the Getaway by 3/4 of a length, 8.5 lengths back to Fleuron. Had been third to T Hoop and Quilixios at Limerick at Christmas. But Porrick Roach again said afterwards, probably going to keep him at home, which is interesting because...
Definitely keeping him at home, yeah.
Yeah, because he had the right rating to go to a handicap at Cheltenham.
Well, I was this close, Gavin. I was there last night, put Georgia down, I was going through the race. I was this close to tipping Deploy the Getaway for the Martin Pike.
Really?
This close. And then I just decided against it.
Yeah, the one thing about Deploy the Getaway is I think all his national hunt runs on the racecourse anyway have been over 2 miles, so would he definitely stay? I'm not sure.
Well, he won a point to point.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
You just can never be sure of point to point.
I know, yeah.
It's like Sir Gerhard, all his wins have been at 2 miles. Is he definitely going to stay 2.5? I don't know, because he's lots of gears, you know. Just to mention Largy Debut, another example that Henry's are definitely in and out, is that he finished 24 lengths behind a horse rated 86. So
that horse is not right though.
Yeah.
He's better than that.
Like his time at Cork when it beat Kilcroat was a second quicker than Dysart Dynamo. So he's come a long way down the pecking order. The last horse to talk about is James Gate, won the bumper by an easy 8 lengths, is 12-1 Ante-Post for the bumper.
He's good, Gavin. He's good.
He's very, very good, yeah.
Very good.
The one thing coming out of that, he's obviously going to go to the Cheltenham bumper. The one thing that would worry me is for next season is Facile Vega, Redemption Day, Mercury, him, and maybe 1 or 2 others. I just would fear for the novice hurdles next season. They'll all win their maiden hurdles. They'll be kept apart. It'll be tricky next winter. It just could be slightly uncompetitive in the novice hurdles next season.
Really?
And the last thing to say, actually,
American Mike. You've got I Am Fortunata. I don't know.
Anyway,
who knows?
I think Willie could dominate the Novice Hurdles next year. And just say Sharjah is out of the champion hurdles, pity.
Yeah, an awful shame. Was that the week that was? That was the week that was. So Up in the Ante viewers, we've still got that amazing offer for you. 15 quid for 3 months membership to the Racing Post Members Club. You've got to join. 15 quid. It's very cheap. You're coming up to all the spring festivals. You've got Cheltenham, you've got Aintree, you've got Punchestown, you've got the Grand National at Fairy House. And there's plenty on the Members Club in the Racing Post. They've got to join, Gavin.
Yes, they have to.
Got to join. 15 quid. You'll see it in the description. And you've also got to like and subscribe to this show, Up in the Ante. Like and subscribe to Up in the Ante on YouTube. And you get what? You get notifications.
Yeah, I believe you get a notification, say, on a Tuesday when it comes out. So at least you won't have to be wondering.
They'll have no excuse to miss us then,
Exactly.
Gavin. Yes, each week here on Up in the Ante, we preview one of the greater races at the Cheltenham Festival. And this week it is the turn of the Albert Bartlett. And at the moment with Bet365 Ante-Post, Minella Crooner is your 4-1 favourite. 6-1 joint second favourites are Minella Cocooner and Ginto. It is 10-1 Hollow Games, 12-1 Journey with Me, 14-1 Bar. So we have a Minella mix-up here.
Yeah, don't get your Manillas mixed up. I'd say there'll be a lot of people having a few pints on the Friday at Cheltenham, and they won't know which horse they're backing.
Just C&Os, just put a load of them
There'll be
down.
a lot of people who back the wrong one, and it'll win, and they'll throw away the docket, and it'll be...
Well, my advice, just make sure it's Crooner. Crooner is the one here. So
I
nail my colours to the mast here with Minella Crooner.
Yeah, no, good pick. You picked him at a good price, 10-1. Ran well at Christmas, won at Punchestown, ran a cracker the last day in the Grade 1, staying on after a bad mistake, behind Cocooner. So yeah, he's got every chance, yeah.
And you obviously last week tipped up Ginto for this race. Since then, obviously there's been a stable turn in the Racing Post with Gordon, who suggested that he might go for the Ballymore. Why should he run here?
I think he'd win this race. I don't think he'll win the Ballymore. I think he's going to be a 3-mile chaser. You saw him in the Lawlers and Naas before they turned in. He's going to get pushed along. I just think he needs 3 mile. I think he'd go off 2-1, 5-2 to win this race. But you look at it, if he's not going to run, he's not going to run. Maybe he will if the ground ends up better than he thinks. But
and Gordon has always said he's got more pace than people think. Do you think he's maybe doesn't?
I just couldn't see him win the Valley, but maybe he will. You never know. Sure, it's a horse race. But Gordon has got 4 out of the top 6 in the betting here, so he's got a good handle on what's needed.
Yeah, okay. Cocooner, where are we with Cocooner?
Yeah, there was a couple of different quotes that I heard through myself and through a friend that what Willie said afterwards. If he goes here, I just wouldn't be 100% sure that Crooner will finish ahead of him. You can't be sure. Now, Canny Danny gave it a brilliant ride. He slowed it up before the second last, super ride, and then kicked on at the bend. So he mightn't get that privilege at Cheltenham. Generally, if you need a horse to get a solo at Cheltenham, it's not going to happen. So your horse will probably finish ahead of him, but I just wouldn't, you couldn't say for 100% sure that he would.
No. 95.
Hollow Games, I don't think is good enough. He was beside your lad the last day. Journey with Me, you'll probably go Ballymore. Jerry Colomb is a good horse. Thurles would have been too fast for a track for him, but he stayed on very well. He won it down Royal. So him over 3 mile going left-handed, galloping track, I think he'd have a chance. I'll give you a couple of outsiders, decent prices.
We love outsiders at decent prices.
The nice guy is 3 from 3, 2 in bumpers. He won a maiden hurdle over 2 miles 3. Willie said he's going for the Bartlett. So he's 16-1. He's unbeaten. He'd have to have a chance. Particularly the form Willie's horse they're in. Bardenstown Lad is 20-1. He's won 4 out of 5 over hurdles. Won the last day in Musselburgh. You know, if you're the old-fashioned stats for this race were that you had to have loads of runs.
I know, yeah.
But I think
Minella ruined all that.
I think it's slightly changing because the quality is getting better. You know, Mr. Fred Rogers, he was the horse. He was my Pertemps horse when I told you before Christmas I had one. But
you finally revealed it,
yeah.
Mr. Fred Rogers.
He was the horse I loved. Yeah.
Okay.
I liked him when he won over 2:16 on Punchestown. In Navan, he was given a nice ride to finish third. Was out the back of the telly most of the way. And then he did well to win in Thurles when he looked to me like he didn't want to win by too far. So I thought he had a great chance. He was off 130 odd for the Pertemps, but he's going to the Grade 3 in Clonmel this Thursday. Yeah. He's 20-1 for the Bartlett. Maybe he's not good enough for Bartlett, but I just thought he had a chance in the Pertemps.
Mr. Fred Rogers was Gavin Lynch's Pertemps final horse, but you're keeping the faith a little bit for the Albert Bartlett.
Yeah, he might be good enough. This is a better race. Yeah. This is a Grade 1. So.
Yeah.
And another horse that probably won't go here because of connections is What Do You Want? Like he's 33-1, and if Willie can convince the owners not to run in their own race in the Ballymore,
he's a good horse.
He's a very good horse.
I was tempted to tip him for the Ballymore.
Yeah, wouldn't he have a chance here if he ran?
Massive chance.
Yeah, because he's not a 2.5 miler really.
I hope he doesn't go here now.
Yeah, but if he ran in this, he's definitely worth a little saver.
Okay, so we've got plenty of big.
So look, it's a very open race.
But you're Ginto if Ginto does go here.
If he does go here, I'd like him. Yeah, but
okay. Okay, and I have to say,
And your lad has a great chance too.
Minella Crooner is my nap of the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. So fingers crossed, all goes well with Minella Crooner in the lead up to the race. Like that run from the second last, he's not a real fluent jumper.
No.
He gets a little bit high sometimes, and he's safe, I think, more than anything. But that run from the second last to the last on the new course at Cheltenham, Crooner is just going to gobble that up.
Like he does lose a half a length at each hurdle, just to say that. So he did it at Leopardstown. He did it at the 2 runs at Leopardstown. In Punchestown, his jump was better, but it was an ordinary.
For him
race.
to do what he did against Cocooner over that trip at Leopardstown on that kind of inside track, that was a hell of a performance, I thought. Hell of a performance. And the extra distance in the Albert Bartlett, the hill, the long run from the second, it's just the makeup of the race is just made for Minella.
Everything you say is correct, yeah. I'd imagine he'll trade a bit bigger in running.
Oh, yeah.
After a mile and a half, he could.
Gavin, we'll be cheering in the stands. That's no good to us.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, okay. So it's Crooner for me, it's Ginto for you, but Gavin has named 4 there at big prices for the Albert Bartlett. And that was our preview. Yes, of course, you want to know what's happening this week. And it's probably the last, I know we say this a lot. We do say this a lot, but it's probably the last real weekend of clues before the Cheltenham Festival. I do a piece that comes out on Monday for Cheltenham Clues. I catch over the weekend. This weekend, you might find a few. I think after that, it's going to get fairly bare. But we've got the Ascot Chase at 3:35 on Saturday. A race I've always loved over the years, Gavin.
Yes.
Some really good horses have won it. And it is extremely, extremely competitive this year. St. Calvados heads the betting. What do you think?
If Paul Nicholls was banging in the winners, you'd be picking St. Calvados, but you still have it in the back of your mind. Can you back him at around, 5-2? He ran a cracker in the King George, got involved too soon, took it up, before the turned in, etc., etc. So he has to have a good chance, but just will he produce his best form?
Gavin, I'm going to do something I never thought I'd do before. I'm going to tip a horse against Mr. Fisher.
All right.
I'm watching my hands of the Fisher. He's having Fisher go back a long way now.
And his form was boosted with Eldorado.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is a very, very, very good horse. And sometime, he's going to show what he's really made of. But you can't let your heart rule your head in this game, Gavin.
True.
And Fakir de Daras is the best horse in this race. He is the best horse in this race. His form at Aintree last season I thought was terrific. I thought he ran very, very well behind Allaho last time in the old Kinloch Bray. He basically almost fell at the first.
He did.
So the jumping worries me a little bit. As a novice, he was an unbelievable jumper.
Yeah.
The reason we were giving him a massive chance in the Arkle when he was second to put the kettle on was because of his jumping. His jumping was brilliant. It's just not quite as good now. I thought he ran well last time. I think there's a good piece of placing by Joseph O'Brien. And I will be disappointed if Fakir de Daras doesn't win. I think he'll go off about 2-1 favourite.
Do you?
I do, yeah.
Okay. He's an intended runner too, isn't he? I read that.
He's an intended runner, yeah. And do you know what? He's 20-1 bet 365 for the Ryanair. He can't beat Allaho. But he is the most glorious each way bet if he turns up. But he could skip Cheltenham for Aintree. So you just don't know.
It's probably not the strongest grade one, really, is it?
No. It's competitive, though.
Yeah, it is.
So you don't really have a strong...
No real opinion. Maybe you're right with Fakir de Daras each way if you're getting 4 or 5-1, yeah.
Convinced you, have I?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the Kingwell at Wincanton. We've got Rendlesham. We've got the Rendlesham. Anything else catch your eye?
In the Kingwell, I fancy Adagio.
Oh.
I thought it was a brilliant run in the Greatwood off 147. He's now off 152. If he's fully fit, like he'd want to be, because the champion hurdle's only a month away. Can you fully trust Goshen? Won well the last day, but sure, we know what he's like. He's as mad as a bag of cats. And Monmoral, I don't think is a definite runner at the minute, so I'd go for Adagio to beat Goshen.
Adagio, okay. In the Reynoldstown at Ascot, my ultimate pick, Does He Know? Who is, you think Goshen is a bag of cats. Does He Know was a bit of bonkers as well when he gets to the race, so it'll be interesting to see what he does on Saturday. But he's favoured to win the Reynoldstown. Yeah,
I thought Diane Breed, who's got very, very similar form, had a good chance as well. So
yeah, I thought Does He Know would probably be good enough to win that. But it's competitive action. We're not going to see any superstars, I don't think, on Saturday, but it's competitive.
And just to mention as well that we've got 2 Pertemps qualifiers left. There's one this Saturday, Haydock. Gordon Ellie has no entry in it, which is interesting. And then there's just one more qualifier next week.
Okay, and then we'll have
the
final field.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening this week. It's Up in the Stakes time here on Upping The Ante, where we try to raise some much needed funds for Cancer Trials Ireland, and we almost got the big one last week with I Like to Move It, who was unfortunately unable to pick up Glory and Fortune. It was like was like the shortest.
It was like slow motion.
Oh, it was like, yeah, but it felt like the shortest home straight ever at Newbury. Usually it's a real long run, and I was going, how did the winning post
Did you start doing this?
Oh, I did. I was at a wedding, and I was watching it in the pub across the road from the church, and I nearly, I was hitting Aoife nearly, I was pretending to But the whip was there, but yeah, I like to move just so it can get up. But of course, Ellie May won. So you're going for 2 out of 2, Gavin?
Yeah, hopefully 3 out of 3.
Is it 3 out of 3?
Yeah, we had a winner the previous week.
Oh yeah, we did indeed, actually, yeah.
What do you call her? Party Central.
Party Central.
Anyway,
so 3 out of 3 for Gavin. What is it going to be?
1 doesn't count, Ellie May. But I'll have the 50 quid and walking on air in Ascot in the 1:15, running in a 2-mile 3 novice hurdle. Very impressive at Newbury. It's only his second ever start, haven't been second in a bumper. Out of refinement, well bred. Nicky thinks a lot of it, so that should win.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumped brilliant at Newbury as well. So walking on air in the 1:15 at Ascot for Gavin Lynch. That's his 50 quid charity bet this week. And I am going to stay loyal to Fakir the Dara. He's in the 3:35, 7-2 at the moment with Bet365. Take it. He's going to go off shorter. I'm convinced of that. He'll go off favourite. And I think Fakir the Dara is going to prove himself to be the second best 2.5 miler in training, because I think he'll be second to Allaho in the Ryanair. So Fakir the Dara is 50 quid win at 7-2 in the Ascot Chase at 3:35 on Saturday. Yes, Upping The Ante viewers, it's the moment you've been waiting for, or for a lot of viewers, the moment you've started with. We need to do something where they can't just scroll to the tips, Gavin. But anyway, here we are. It is time for our latest selections for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. And you have 2.
Yes.
And I have 2.
Good.
So you're going to hear Gavin Lynch's 2 right now.
Will I go first?
You can go first,
So
Gavin.
I'm tipping up a horse first of all in the county hurdle. Now I've already tipped up Echoes and Rain at 16-1. I think she's got a great chance, even though she's gone up £6, but it was a cracking run the last day. But I just can't leave this horse out. I don't want this horse to win and not have mentioned or tipped it up. And that's Top Bandit, trained by Gordon Elliott. Gordon mentioned in the stable tour yesterday and mentioned it straight away when they talked about the county hurdle and said it must have a very good chance. It's got an Irish rating of 135, but people mightn't realise that it was entered in England a month ago, and it's got a UK rating of 139, so I think that's very, very fair. I won a bumper at the 5th attempt, which is nothing hot. It was third in the maiden hurdle Limerick. Then I won a maiden hurdle at Cheltenham in October. It was the old course. The county hurdle will be on the new course. It's not the same track, but still, at least it shows that he was able to go to England and win. He got a brilliant ride from Davy Russell. This horse travels. You remember the ride he gave Party Central, say 10 days ago? This horse needs the same kind of ride. Okay. It's a travelly thing. It's a horse you used to tip.
No travelly thing.
And Davy will have to be his best here again. So second that day was Brorson, who's won 2 since. Jetoile was third, that was second in the Tallworth as well. So the form of that race is good. Since then, it's won 2 very ordinary novice hurdles at Punchestown. But what I like is that he's a novice. He's only had 4 runs over hurdles. He's very unexposed and open to improvement.
Good jumper.
Jumps really well. Travels very, very strong. Will enjoy the fast pace of a county hurdle. I'd prefer if it was the old course, because the travelly things, they can turn in and just jump the last. So when Davy is absolutely tanking at the bend, he'll have to wait and wait and wait. But he's the best man. Since Ruby and Barry have retired, Davy Russell is the best man to ride Cheltenham, in my opinion.
Genius.
So hopefully he gives the same ride that he gave Party Central come late.
You have written about him before in your Racing Post column on the Saturday, haven't you, Top Bandit?
I think I mentioned him a good while back, yeah.
Yeah. You've been on his case for a long, long time.
Yeah, no, I like the horse, yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's a novice and unexposed, so.
Okay, so is that it?
Yep.
Selection number 2, please.
Selection number 2 is a horse I mentioned a couple of times here and also in the Saturday article, is Brave Shaska for the Grand Annual.
Brave 70, isn't it, for our
60.
Shaska? 60,
yeah.
Brave 60.
So I was worried that last week when it ran behind Edward Stone and Warwick that it was going to mess up its handicap rating. But luckily it hasn't. It's gone from 145 to 146. You have to remember at the weekend it was getting £5, so that's probably why it hasn't gone up so much. So it had 2 runs of bumpers, 2 runs over hurdles. It had a run in a handicap chase in Chepstow, and since then it won very easy in Warwick off 121. It won very easy at Ascot by 3 lengths off 128, and then a really impressive performance in Warwick again off 137. It beat last year's Grand Annual winner Sky Pirate. Bolted up, travelled very, very well, jumped really well, and it went from 137 to 145. We saw it the weekend. Now I didn't think the weekend went perfect for Brave Shaska, because For Pleasure made the run on, so he's going after him. No, he made a bad mistake at around the 5th fence, Brave Shaska did.
Wasn't then far though.
No, but when he gets past For Pleasure, halfway down the back, up on the outside is Edward Stone. So he got a lot of hassle in the race, but he still stayed on. So I think the horse is good attitude. He's a novice, he jumps very well. I think the old course will suit him really well because it's similar to Warwick, it's nice and tight. And the other thing I'll say to you, if you can jump well in Warwick, you can jump well anywhere.
And he's a prominent racer.
Yeah, I think that's a big help.
He's trained by the Queen,
Venetia
Williams, who's got a terrific Cheltenham record. Ticks a lot of boxes, Gavin.
Yeah, he's got a lovely profile. I think he's still improving. He could be a graded chaser next year. As you said, he travels well, jumps well. He's going to be up with the pace. And if things go his way, I think he's got a great chance.
And price?
Price is 8-1 non-runner no bet, 10-1 Ante-Post, so we'll take the 10-1.
10-1.
And she has mentioned before that when it won on a second last start, that he could be a Grand Annual horse. So.
Okay, there you go. So Brave Shashka is being added to Gavin Lynch's list, which is rolling here behind us. And there's some juicy ones in there. As you'll see, the likes of Gallop and the Champs, obviously, it's got a massive chance. Tell Me Something Girl is a much shorter price as well now. So Brave Shashka and Top Bandit are added to Gavin's list for the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. Good selections, Gavin.
Thank you.
Yeah, have to say now, 2 solid ones there. Both of mine are 33-1.
Okay.
I tend to do this a lot. The one number I can say, 33-1. 2 of them. I'm going to kick off because you've had a Grand Annual tip.
Okay.
I'm going to have a Grand Annual tip. Okay. So 33-1. Time White is my Grand Annual tip for this year. Okay. So Gentleman to me is favourite with a lot of firms and favourite Bet365. Looks like he's not going to go there.
Yep.
There's no real, last year was mad on Antukas. There's no real JP horse, I think. Look, because that's my first port of call. I think back over the years and you think of the Le Parisiennes, and JP likes to have a Grand Annual horse. I'm not sure he does this year.
Cade Boy was one, but we haven't seen him in long enough,
Cade
so
Boy,
you're right.
I don't think he got up the hill in the County Hurdle last year, Cade Boy.
Yeah.
But Cade Boy is very interesting. I think he's nicer. So I went through the race. Sky Pirate I thought he ran fine in the Games Paired. I thought he ran fine. He finished last, but I thought he ran okay, and he looks like he's only going to be a couple of pounds higher than he was last year. So Sky Pirate has got a chance. But I started going through the race last night, and I said, there must be something lurking in here that has a few pounds in hand. And the one I landed on was Time White, who was unexposed over fence. He's only had 3 runs. Now, he did refuse on a second last start, which is not ideal, but Paul Nicholls said it was out of character. I thought he was brilliant at Doncaster over Christmas. Got a bit lost. It was the 4th day of the Leopardstown Festival. You wouldn't have really saw it. A lot of viewers mightn't have even seen it, but Bryony Frost rode him that day, and they changed tactics a little bit. He'd been held up a good bit earlier on in his career. This time he was ridden a bit more prominently, jumped really well. He tanks through his races. He's a real strong traveller. And I think a race like the Grand Annual, where they're going lickety-split from the start, I think he'll be in his comfort zone because he's able to travel. And I think he's learnt a lot. I think he's grown up as a horse. I'm guessing, I have no idea, he hasn't been seen since the 29th of December. I think he's got a mark of 142. He won off 134. I have a feeling Paul Nicholls said to himself, right, we've got 142, boys. Paul Nicholls will want to have chance in the handicaps because he's missing some of the grade ones going to Aintree. I think he said, we're going to put Time White away, fingers crossed, and go for the Grand Annual off 142, because I think he thinks he might have 7 or 8 pounds to play around it, because Time White could reach maybe 150 over fences. He's ran in the Boodles and he's ran in the County, I think. He didn't run great in either. He ran okay, but I think he's grown up now. He was always going to be a chaser. He's built to be a chaser. And I think 33-1 is a big price about Time White for the Grand Annual. Fingers crossed, okay? That's my first one, right? My second one, I just got to get him in there because the reaction is ridiculous. Royal Pagaille is 33-1 with Bet365 for the Gold Cup. And Gavin, it's just the wrong price. It's the wrong price. There is a chance we could get a soft ground Gold Cup. We've had a very dry winter overall. Last couple of weeks we've had a bit of rain, and we could get a soft ground Gold Cup someday. If we do, he goes off a single figure price.
Okay.
If it's a bog, Royal Pagaille is a single figure price. I thought he ran really well on Saturday. I thought he'd win the race. He didn't win it, but it was 2 mile 7, and you said earlier, 2 mile 7 and 80 something yards maybe.
Yeah.
The Gold Cup is 3 mile 2.5 furlongs. It's a completely different test to the Denman Chase on Saturday. I was a little bit disappointed that after kind of going in pursuit of Eldorado Allen at the third last, he didn't quite get to him. But they kind of sprinted up the straight.
They did.
They sprinted. They were quick.
The ground was decent.
Yeah, they were quickening rather than coming back to Royal Pagaille. Now, he ran the race last year. He's been beaten 22 lengths by A Plus Tard in the Betfair Chase. If all the horses are the same price, I'd back A Plus Tard. Would you?
Not sure.
Do you know what I mean? It's just a price thing with Royal Pagaille. He mightn't be good enough. He was a novice last season. He's not a novice now. He's had more experience in better races. He's ran the Betfair Chase. He was good in the Peter Marsh. I think Phoenicia has said to herself, we're going to have one proper crack at the Gold Cup, and everything has been led up to this Gold Cup. And 33-1, I think at the moment he's a 14-16-1 shot. I don't think he's a 33-1 shot.
Okay.
I wrote about it in my column on Saturday in the Racing Post, and I am sticking to my guns. Royal Pagaille, 33-1 for the Gold Cup. So that's it for episode 15 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. Before we go, Gavin, you have details of our Upping The Ante day at Naas?
Yeah, so Sunday week, the 27th of February, we've an Upping The Ante race day. a few hundred people have got free tickets already. If you want to come along on the day, you can pay €15.
That's the only reason they're going, because it's free.
Maybe. And so after here, I'm going down to meet Eamon McAvoy, a lovely chap. He's the general manager of Naas Racecourse. He done the full cycle last year and he raised a good few quid, so great guy.
Good man,
so going down there to chat to him to organise an area maybe that we can have and sit around and chat, and we'll be there. So
we'll be there. I'll be there. You'll be there.
Yeah.
That is Sunday week. Any plans for the rest of this week?
Maybe hitting the small ball game of golf on Thursday. Yeah.
Weather's getting better. Gavin is golfing again.
Maybe Portumna. We're not certain yet, but Portumna, there's a competition on Thursday, so it's a 2-hour drive. But sure, it's a great course.
Sure. Be nice.
And yourself?
No, very little, Gavin. Very little football training. Yeah, very little. Very
We'll
quiet.
have to get you out on the bike now soon.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start my training for the Coast to Coast cycle, which is on what day?
Saturday, August 27th.
Well done. I thought I might catch you out there. But before then, we've got the Cheltenham Festival to look forward to. And when me and Gavin stand in these very spots next week, there's only going to be 3 weeks to go until the Supreme Novice Hurdle. I'm getting excited, Gavin.
Yeah. And then it'll be into Cheltenham preview nights. And it's really kicking off. Yeah, it's good.
It really is. This is the time of year we all love. But that's been it for episode 15 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. If you are having a bet this week, don't forget to gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. I've been David Jennings. He's been Gavin Lynch. This has been Upping The Ante. Thanks for watching.